Yeah! Welcome back to the Southern Snack, where life is too short to be serious. All right, we are back at Crumbl yet again. I mean, when are we not back at Crumbl? And this week's lineup has some creamy new flavors. Now, I feel like I can just go ahead and tell y'all, I think this is a skip week. Like, if I'm going to be, thinking about my perspective, if I'm driving to Crumbl, it's about an hour drive. By the time I drive that far, we got a pink donut, I could go to Krispy Kreme. We got a cinnamon roll, I could go to Cinnabon. And then, Brookie's, I'm sure there's plenty of Brookies out there too. Of course, you can go get a chocolate milkshake at about at least 20 to 25 fast food places I'm going to be passing. And coconut cream pie, I'm sure there's somewhere, some bakery that's got it. So I feel like this feels definitely like a skip week, but we're going to try them. We do that every week. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm very intrigued about the coconut cream pie. I think it's very intriguing. But again, the common denominator of issues with their pies is that the base could be a bit thick, and it takes away from the flavor. As for chocolate milkshake, it does look like its own thing, but just from the description, I'm getting vibes that it's going to taste a lot like chocolate silk pie or French silk pie. It's giving off that vibe. Chocolate mousse, chocolate base. So we'll see. We got to try. We got to give things a chance, right? So, oh boy. There's your thumbnail, or your thumbnail if you want to call it that too. All right, let's put me back to the center. See, we try to work things out. All right, we're gonna start with coconut cream pie. Yeah. All right, so let's go move some things around and let's cut a piece of this. People oftentimes say, why don't you just take a bite? Why don't you just bite out a cookie? And I would, but you know how many calories are in these things. And I like to share these cookies. These cookies are to share, by the way. You ain't got to eat them to yourself. So I like to do that. And to do that, I just feel like it's rude to take a bite out of it. I've seen some creators just take a miniature bite out of it. I'm like they bite out the cookie. How are you going to get the whole flavor? If you at least cut into it, you get into the center and everything, you get a more accurate opinion. So, anyways, coconut cream pie. I like that a lot. It reminds me of like a Bavarian cream or a Boston cream, but with that coconut influence into it. And I think it's just the right amount of coconut, right? You got to think about it. It's called coconut cream pie, not coconut pie, coconut cream. So if you have just the right amount of coconut, I think it does well. Is it an all-time favorite of mine? I wouldn't say so, but I can see where a lot of people are going to love this one. Again, I do think the pie base is a bit thick, but I like the flavor of the cream. I think the coconut's there, and I give it a solid 8.5. So definitely consider that one. I'm sure eventually Crumbl, if they continue to go on this path of making desserts, they will probably make an actual coconut cream pie where there's less of a pie crust, and I will probably absolutely love it. But for what we got right now, 8.5, it works. So good job on coconut cream pie. All right, now we're moving on to chocolate milkshake, which again, I'm not buying into this, but you know what? You can't deny it until you try it. Right, so, because I've already bought it, right? I've already paid for it. Doesn't matter if I think it's going to be good. Just matters that it is good. So got a little miniature piece, but again, I mean, I got everything I need to have in this bite. Okay, I do think it's its own thing in a way as compared to French silk pie. What I'm thinking here is that chocolate base is very heavy. So it kind of takes away from the mousse. The mousse is nice and light and refreshing, but this really doesn't give off like a chocolate milkshake vibe. It gives off a cocoa cookie vibe with some nice light chocolate mousse. Again, it's good and it's enjoyable, and I'd probably sit this one at like a 7.5 just because it meets a very good standard. But outside of that, this one really doesn't say it is. I mean, to me, it's not like a chocolate milkshake, right? It would be, the base would have to have less influence. The mousse would have to be the star of the show, and I'm just not getting that. I'm getting a fudgy chocolate cookie. So if there's any way to kind of say this, I think maybe like you could call this, you can't call it brownie sundae, but you could call it like a chocolate brownie sundae, because that's kind of what I'm thinking of, like a chocolate brownie with a little bit layer of chocolate ice cream, more than like a chocolate milkshake. I don't know if that explains it at all to you guys, but it would be so much harder it's going to be hard for me, because I'm going to make a short version of a review. It's going to be so hard for me to try and describe that within 10 seconds. Oh, it's not a chocolate milkshake, but it's like a brownie. So yeah. Anyways, now I've lost excitement for the rest of the review, because, I mean, you know, I could be at Cinnabon eating this. It doesn't even look like they gave me much cinnamon, so I'm really going to have to cut into this one. But it's still, albeit my lack of excitement for this cookie, it's still very good. Like, they hit on the cinnamon just right. The cream cheese is pretty solid. So I'm not like this homer for this cookie, you know? So, all right. Some people absolutely love this one. I can't blame them for it. It's good. It's very rich in what it's trying to do. And some people might like this better than a cinnamon roll because it's a gooey cookie rather than this flaky piece of bread with cinnamon in it. So I think it's good enough for me to warrant it like an 8.5. I think so. It's just kind of simple, kind of basic. And the cream cheese can be a bit heavy, but I think the amount of cinnamon they got on it really balances well with this. So, very good cookie. I wouldn't put it top tier, but some people will, and I don't blame them for it. All right, pink donut. And I hope I remember to, oh, I don't even know if I showed the pink donut off. Did I? No, I did not. I forgot to show pink donut off, I swear. Okay, guys, be right back. False alarm. Did not forget. I don't know, my mind's frazzled right now, but when I do my shorts, I gotta record each cookie too. I gotta show each cookie. So I thought I forgot to do the recording for pink donut. That hole might be drilling a hole in my mind, but I didn't. So here we go with pink donut. Of course, I cut a small piece that has like no sprinkles in it, but not like sprinkles add much to this as sugar. You already got sugar in the whole cookie, so. Again, it's not a bad cookie. It's just really a gooey sugar cookie with some icing. You can just go get a donut from Krispy Kreme, but I think it's a good cookie, right? It tastes good. Tastes nice. That icing really adds a touch. I would prefer it if they would do like a strawberry icing on this. That way it's like a strawberry donut, because all pink iced donuts are pretty much strawberry. But 6 out of 10. I mean, it's fair. All right, Brookie. I feel like this one gets too much love. It's overhyped. And we're just going to be a monster. Pull off the back end there. Now that seemed a little bit more balanced than I usually have. A lot of times I just feel like this side overpowers this side. With Brookie, what you want is to taste a good note of that brown sugar that the cookie part provides. And so I feel like that chocolate part oftentimes just overrides it for no reason. But outside of that, I think they did a pretty good job on it this week. I give it a 7.5. So, you know, I know I'm saying it's a skip week, but then I'm saying, wow, cinnamon bun is actually really good and the top 2 flavor of this week. But you gotta think about it from perspective is, I know a lot of you people look at a lineup and you're like, I want this cookie or this cookie. You're not like, okay, I want a whole bunch of flavors. So, you know, just giving perspective, if I drive out this far and passing Krispy Kreme and passing Cinnabon, it's like, okay, what am I doing, right? So I get it. And I just like to give that perspective too. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews this week. Saucy Nugs at Wendy's is the next thing coming up. So just went crazy and dumped a whole thing, a whole 50 thing of nuggets on my head the other day, and people got mad when I uploaded it. And let me tell you what, I didn't waste. I don't like to waste. I don't waste these cookies. I didn't waste those nuggets. I had precautions that none of them hit the floor. It was fun. So I know I'm crazy, but hey, we're vibing, we're riding. Other than that, I'll see y'all around. Yeah.